I'm
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 open.
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 I'm
So
open.
open.
I'm open. Welcome to the I'm Open podcast. I'm Andrew. Joined with me are Ryan and Joe. Sans Samuel. We're gonna go through some tier lists today. First of all, how are you guys? What's going on?
Feeling good. Feeling
I'm great.
fresh.
I hear that Ryan hung out with a friend of the pod this
I,
weekend.
I hung out with a friend
Yes.
of the pod, and then I made a friend of the pod,
Oh,
Tell me more.
which was awesome.
yeah.
So I'm in Colorado, and the Alley Cats. We all everyone knows we're a Cats pod. So, Cats came out and got to see them take on the Summit. Post game, got to have a beer with Cam, and like I said on the pod last week, I did grab his ass. Um, he made sure, but he reminded me. He was like, "You gonna grab my ass?" And I
Oh,
was like, "I'm not gonna grab your ass." And then
so he
before I left, I
really
grabbed his ass.
he reminded you.
He reminded me. I was not planning on it because I
Nice.
forget everything I say that we do on this pod. Um, and then
Same.
that was fun. Saw Lepler again. Good time. I also shout out Pod Practice. Played a tournament with Mikey Loon, who runs Pod Practice. So had a little connection. I threw him a score at one point. That was fun. And then made a friend of the pod, Nick Hutton and Xavier Payne of the Indy Alley Cats. After the game, we went out dancing, had a fun little night downtown Denver, and stuff happened, and I'll leave it at that. If you're a real one, you know what happened. But yeah, that was fun.
Okay, maybe you'll have to elaborate off camera. Yeah. Joe, what about you? Do you have anything that can stack up to that or
I've got a lot actually that could stack up to that, but only the real ones
Oh,
know. So
Only the real.
right. Same.
yeah,
Honestly, same. If you're real, you already know.
you already
So
know
it
about it.
it it, it doesn't it's not worth repeating.
For sure.
Um should we
Should we get
get
into it?
into it? Yeah, let's do it. Joe, you got it ready to rock?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yes. Yes, I do. Of
And
course, of
Joe,
course, of
take it
course.
away.
And as I was saying, uh, of course, I have it up and ready.
Ah, okay. It's a little
So
Oh,
we're going.
here's the tier list as we last left it. Looks like an F. It has a team in F. It has no teams in S. And we had some games happen this week.
I see we're going dark mode this week. I love it.
Shit. That's a good point. That's a good point. Change background color. Is this what we do normally? That looks right.
Yeah.
yeah.
That looks right.
Vibrant.
We're so back. We know what we're
We're
doing
so
here.
back.
I tried to also put the games up like Sam does, but he uses an iPad and it wanted to only share half of my screen when I put them next to each other and then made everything all fucked up. So I don't I'll just go back and forth between tabs, I guess.
Well, Sam is a poser, so we don't need that iPad nonsense. We can,
Bullshit.
I can
Yeah.
just do this. I can just do this.
This is
What a
yeah,
beautiful.
week. What a
we need
week we've
Sam
had.
and his
We had
technological
the
savviness.
Texas, the best matchup every week. 1 point game. Fantastic. I don't think that changes anything over here, does it?
Yeah, not really.
Kind of cements the Legion. They're 0-5 now against Houston.
God.
It's dog shit.
Although I do think that Dallas covered. We'll get to that
We'll
later.
get to that. We'll get to
But
that. But you are
yeah.
correct that Dallas did cover.
Um,
That's a
yeah,
future
okay, well,
episode, Andrew.
yeah, and Nitro also covered as well, but again, we're not going to talk about that. I think like, yeah, this third game right here, Glory Royal, another
Overtime.
quality loss for the Royal. Uh,
Yeah.
are we gonna keep giving them credit for like losing, but like kind of close? Like, does that move the needle anywhere? Do we move you up if you lost
Two and
close to a
eight,
good team?
2 wins plus quality losses. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really feel like they can go above Philly, who have some quality games, but mostly dog shit games. Maybe it does put them above Philly. I don't know, but Philly has 4 wins.
Has Philly or Montreal played each other yet? Do we
Yeah, I
have a
think Philly
head-to-head?
won. I think Philly won.
So like, what are we gonna do here?
I know. That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah,
mean, look at that. It's
Philly
a 5 point
smacked
game.
them. They won by 11. Oh, sorry. The first game they won by 11, and then their second game they won by 5.
Yeah, I mean,
Ugh.
I just feel like if you can only win 2 games and keep up with a bunch of quality losses, like you're not Corpus. You're certainly not Corpus, but I don't know how much better we can do for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's valid. Man, if
It
such a close
sucks because
game.
they look like not a terrible team.
Yeah, it's just tough to like have these losses stack up. Like there's like you said, like there's only so much we can do for you if you
Yeah,
keep losing. Like I want to give you some credit. But yeah,
yeah.
that's tough. That's tough. But yeah, I guess they kind of have to stay put because all those teams ahead of them have either beaten them or
Have probably
well,
more quality games
we can talk. We can talk. I think maybe there's some shuffling that might happen within CD-ROM at the very least.
for sure.
Yeah, anything else here? We got Flyers beating
Well,
Philly. That
they got smacked. But I
doesn't really
mean,
change anything.
I think these 2 games are like some of the bigger games from this weekend. Union
Yeah.
beat Winchell by 5. I think they are now 1-2 against Winchell this year, but
Wow.
the whole point differential. I think they lost by 1 and they lost by 2, or they lost by 1 and they lost by 3, and then now they win by 5.
This is pretty big.
Seafoam Stadium.
This is pretty big. I think we've definitely had people on the pod before from the Central saying like it's not fun to go into Minnesota all the time. Not the best like I don't know. It's just they're a good team. It's tough to play on the road there and that is a decisive win.
I know.
Did not watch this game so I can't like speak too much on it, but wow. And like I was kind of going over what I was saying about the Union last week, and I've been low on them kind of all year. And I think last week I gave them some disrespect. So this kind
Mhm.
of I guess I have to apologize on the record for that. Man, yeah, that completion percentage is
I
crazy.
know.
I don't know.
Damn.
No.
I've been low in the Union, but hey, I mean, like Sam Kaminsky, Ben Priest, like go off, I guess.
Okay. Well, let's also just quickly before we talk tiers, let's talk about this Madison Thunderbirds game too, because
Yeah,
this was the Radicals' chance to cement themselves above, at the very least, the Thunderbirds, but they did not do that.
I don't know if like cementing would be the right word. 11 turnovers.
No, this was their chance to cement, and they did not cement.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. Um, I don't know really what this does for me. I guess do we have them lower than Pittsburgh on the tier list right now?
I don't think so. We have them a tier above.
They're a tier above. I mean, I don't think we can move either of them one way or the other. Like a team a tier above beat a team that we consider a tier below, and maybe it was close, but like I don't know. I don't know which version of the Thunderbirds we got this week. Whether maybe a 1 point win against the Thunder Turds really doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, that is true. I don't really know what it
Yeah,
does for me either. It just makes me mad, I think.
yeah, I guess so. So I guess the question is Minnesota we have in B
Yeah,
above Union, but we just saw them lose by 5 at home. So where does that like put us there?
that's a really good question. That's a
Do we
very good question.
does Union
Did
go
Union play
up
themselves out of Central Tier?
or does Minnesota go back down? Did Union drag them back in?
I
You
don't
know what
think
I
I
so.
was
mean?
thinking I was thinking this exact same thing, and I kind of think it depends on how good we think Seattle is.
How about this? Maybe Union's like a little bit better than we've given them credit for. And then if you take Union out, then I think that like central tier of like Cats, Summit, Rascals, Austin maybe can still play themselves out of it. But like the Cats have I know we're a Cats pod, but like they just lost to the Summit. They what? They've lost to the Union. They lost to the Thunder Turds. They're what, like 4-5 on the season now versus like I don't know. I feel like they feel to me like a tier below all those teams in B right now. So maybe we keep it positive. We reward Union for a good win. Um maybe oh man, that was
Oh
such
wait,
a
but I was gonna say this Alley Cats Rascals game was last week.
yeah, but like maybe they just belong like next to each other, in the same tier.
I mean, Alley recency bias says Alley Cats.
Well, they just lost,
Standings
but
say the Rascals.
who of the Rascals beaten?
Thunderbirds by 1. The Summit
Mm,
lost to the Union by 1, and decisive shitbirds
they
win.
kind of beat. They kind of win close games and lose close games.
Yeah, it's not a bad resume.
That's not
They're so
bad.
yeah, they're so central.
See,
I know.
to
What do
me,
we do
maybe they
about
belong. I know they lost the Cats, but the Cats just lost, and
yeah, but the Rascals beat the Summit also.
the Rascals beat the Summit, and the Cats lost to the Summit. So we have that like you know little sample size, and then also the Cats got just dusted by the Thunder Turds. You know what I mean? So to me, the Rascals are like more consistent. Like the Cats like shit the bed really hard in that one game, and the
Yeah,
Rascals have been like all their losses have been like close. They haven't gotten dusted by anybody. So
that
maybe
is
we
fair.
reward that consistency a little bit, and then the Cats is like, come on, you got to show me something. You got to,
Okay, but then here's the thing. What do we do about Summit Rascals?
So split them up, go Rascals, Summit, Cats.
I think
yeah,
that could be fair. I think that could
I
be
think that's
fair.
fair.
Rascals beat the Summit earlier this season.
Rascals beat the Summit. Summit beat the Cats. I can live with this. This is a logical. That is an airtight argument right there
Cats,
for a tier list.
yeah,
No
yeah,
flaws.
no flaws. Are we keeping Minnesota at the top of this B tier?
I don't think you can anymore after losing by 5. I don't think you can
I
do that.
agree.
I mean,
I
let's double
agree.
check the resume, maybe.
I'd like to double
Um,
check. I'd like to double check the Cascades resume real quick.
yeah, did they play this week? I don't know
I
if they played
don't
this week.
think so. Um, yeah, they like won and lost to Spiders. They won and lost Summit. Is that true? Those their
Yeah,
two losses?
they won and lost to to the Summit. Yeah,
They just split. They split with the Spiders. They split with the Summit. Those are their 2 losses. And then they beat. Who did they beat? They haven't played the Shred yet.
No, they haven't played. They
They
only
play
played
the
the
Shred
Shred
next week
once.
for first place.
They have Gorpus twice,
But they did play
Aviators
the Shred.
Next week.
next week.
So they have not played them yet. And they only have to play
No,
them once.
they have San Diego twice. They get Gorpus 3 times. They get Spiders
Hmm.
twice, Aviators twice. That's a pretty easy schedule. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. See, this is the tough thing. It's like I don't want to like at the end of the day, like your record does matter, but like the schedules can
I
really,
know.
really change
Soul,
that a
Austin
lot.
Soul, Austin Soul, Austin Soul. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, cough cough, Austin Soul last
I mean,
year.
yeah, Seattle plays Aviators twice and Gorpus 3 times. Like that's 5 games. Like it's crazy. The Summit, who I have been against all season because they're just not playing how they used to. Like they have 1 game against the Aviators, 1 game against Corpus, and then
Yeah.
they have to go to Minnesota. They have to play Indy. They have to play the Rascals. They got to play Atlanta. Like those schedules are
Mhm.
vastly different.
Um, I know we're trying to talk about Seattle right now, but I guess since you brought up the Summit, Ryan, and how they're kind of not playing how they used to, like I really was kind of tuning in more this week to the Summit Alley Cats game. And man, like that first half it was just it was sloppy. Like the
Sloppy.
drops pull, like there was just kind of this like nonchalant, like dare I say lackadaisical kind of vibe to them. Um like they have this I don't want to make generalizations, but I feel like when I watch like a Colorado Ultimate team, they kind of have this swagger of like we're Colorado, like we're good, like we know we're good. Um, and in the past, they've like played with this focus. Maybe we saw that slip a little bit last year, and then this year it's just like they
Gone.
have that confidence, but they're not. Their play isn't like backing it up. Like they have these lapses in focus. The talent is there, but like it's kind of frustrating to watch. And then they brought it back in the second half of this game. They wound up getting the win, but it's just like, yeah, it's kind of like that first half is kind of a microcosm of their whole season so far.
Yeah.
Um,
And you're not seeing things. That first half, I was sitting next to a former player. I'm not going to out him because he was just complaining the whole time. Like, what are we doing? Like, are you kidding me? Like this and that. Whenever there was a throwaway, a huck decision, the drop pull. Like I saw him have his like hands in his like face like multiple times, and it's just like he knows like he basically was saying there's nobody to like tell certain players to put them back in their place. Like when they make bad decisions or when there's that they're kind of riding a high and like there's no focus that there was that first season.
yeah, I guess like I mean, I will be the absolute last person to comment on a team's like leadership or something. Like, not my place. I'm not really gonna try to do that. I'm sure there's very strong lead. I mean, like, dude, like we've talked to Quinn Finer before. Like that dude's a leader. Like that is I'll run through a brick
Who
wall for
wasn't
that
there
guy.
for the first half of the season?
So yeah, the inconsistency in the roster and like the voices in the locker room and like getting everyone to kind of lock in, like yeah, I mean, like, okay, he wasn't playing, but like, was he there on the sideline? Like, was he how? Like, I don't know, I don't know. It's tough. It's disappointing to see like a really talented roster underperform. But hopefully this was like a little bit of a wake up call, and then like that second half where they really turned it on, and like, I mean, dude, some of the plays that they made in that second half, like, holy shit. Um,
I was gonna bring up Joe. This guy's defense is out of control this year. Like I remember I was on the sideline and I was like, dude, you got to have a better matchup. Your guy's getting blanketed right now. Like chances, like he's getting no stats because he's getting no disc thrown to him.
was yeah, so just for the people know, former teammate of most of us here, Chance Cochran. This is his first AUDL season. He's been captain of Johnny Bravo, right?
Mm.
Current Johnny
Uh,
Bravo captain. Um,
Rookie of the year candidate for
Rookie
oh,
of the
UFA
year
this year.
candidate.
Absolutely.
why haven't we been pushing that harder?
Oh
Damn.
man.
I
Okay,
don't
it
know. I
starts
kind of think we
today.
forgot that he was a rookie just because he's so not like
It,
18.
he's so not a rookie. Yeah, he's like older than us. But yeah, Chance, he looked great out there. And I saw him. He was getting some O-line points? Am I uh
So he got
remembering
3.
correctly?
Yeah, Summit would like throw out like a chunky O line whenever their O line would get broken or something.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, get Chance some O-line points, man. He's so
dude,
good.
yeah,
Um,
100% multiple times throughout the
Look
season.
at that.
yeah. Um, yeah, yeah. He's just like he's an athlete. Very. I mean, he lives and breathes ultimate. It's great that they have him this year. And yeah, I don't know. Chance, get their shit together. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Um,
All right, that's enough of the Summit. Let's move
it's
on.
enough of the
I
summit, but
totally
hey, good win. That was a good win. It was good for them to bring it back. Don't know how much higher we can move you. I think they're squarely in the central
yeah.
tier right now. Um,
So that brings us back to Minnesota versus Seattle.
I'm not sold on Seattle. I think
Not either.
I'm not
reality.
either, but I'm not really sold on the Union or Minnesota, if I'm being honest.
I kind of like where it's at, like right now, Minnesota, Seattle, Union. Like, yes, Union just won,
By
but
5.
By 5
I
at Minnesota.
The thing is, I want the Union over Minnesota, but I want Minnesota over Seattle, and I want Seattle over the Union.
Man, the Chicago Hive is going to come at us if they see Union below Minnesota after last week.
all right, fuck it. Put Union above them. All the other Minnesota wins have been really close, and
I
this
gotta
one was,
say, it also spells
I like it.
like we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah, like
Seattle,
here's the B tier.
Seattle.
I don't
I like
know.
this. This is fine.
We can't
I
move
totally
them
forgot.
down.
I know we can't move them down. I'm just saying, like, should we move them up?
No.
I don't think
Minnesota.
so either.
Definitely not. They
I don't
haven't
think
even
so
played the
either.
they haven't played
Yeah, they'll play the
anybody.
shred, and if they win that, they can bump up to A tier if they want.
They've played
I do not promise that though.
they've played Gorpus, they've played Aviators, they've played Spiders, and they've played that's it.
Yeah. All
We can't
right.
do no,
Summit.
like
It's fine. Do we have any other
and they
adjustments?
lost to the Summit.
What else
All right.
happened this week?
Hold on. We got to go through the last few games of the week.
The Spiders beat Corpus. Whoa. Austin beat Havoc. Whoa. Like
All right, this game was close. This game was close at halftime. I
that's so
was
classic.
Look at that. After it was a 2-point game, after it was a 4-point game here, and they just continued.
Yeah, that
So whatever. Solar in the playoffs, despite their best efforts not to be.
Yeah.
Growlers
They can
getting their ass or not ass handed to them, but losing a close one to the famous Aviators of Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Wow.
so what does that do for us here?
That's probably the most notable game that could have like a shift this week, like in terms of I guess aside from Chicago, but are Aviators rising? Like, do we move the Aviators above San Diego? Do they have they split the season series? Am I remembering correctly?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
What was the other game like? Yeah, see, San Diego's record is looking kind of Gorpus right now, but they haven't lost to Gorpus at least.
Okay.
Aviators
Growlers
have.
dominated, and then Aviators won by 1.
I think we're getting two versions of the Aviators right now. I think that's something we need to talk about.
We also very well might have 2 versions of the Growlers because of this first game too.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm tired of all the people that were like, growlers, like on the come
Growlers.
up, like, oh, look out, because they like lost to the shred by like 3 a couple times. And it was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's like, no, dude,
Growlers.
like, no, they're 4-7 now, or what are they?
I think you're right. Spot
Yeah,
on.
they're 4-7. It's kind of the like Montreal Royal syndrome of like, yeah, like you kind of that was a really good team and you played them close, but like you lost those and then you lost a couple other key games and then like what are we supposed to do with that,
Growlers.
We can
All
only
right, so
give you
what do
so
we
much
think?
respect. And then now we're a recency bias pod and you just lost to the Gorpus Aviators who are like
Yeah.
so you got to go down. We got to move you down. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I don't know if
Um
we can really raise the Aviators higher than that though.
No, it's
no,
fine.
definitely not. Um
Pittsburgh just lost only by 1 to the Rascals.
yeah, and I don't want to give them too much credit. I don't know what the hell happened when they dunked on the Alley Cats like that, but that counts for something. And then
It does.
uh the one last thing I'll say about the Aviators Growlers game, I did kind of tune into it. the Aviators were down like 5-10 or something. Like
Mm-hmm.
I missed the first half of the first quarter and I just tuned in and the score was bad. I was like, what? Like, do I even watch the rest of this game? Like, yeah,
Oh,
10 to 4.
10-4.
they're
10
down
4
10
in
to
the
4.
first.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, like this is bad. Um, and the fact that the Growlers let the Aviators back into this game is crazy. Like
They won the rest of the quarters.
that has to knock you down. Like the like good teams. Okay, like on one hand, I was thinking to myself as I was watching this, like good teams don't get you don't get put in a hole like that. You know, like if you're above
Who's arguing that the Aviators are a good team?
nobody. No, and I guess like at the end of the day, like the way that this game played out, like a good team doesn't get down by that much that early. Like you just don't let that happen.
10
And
giving
then
up 10 points in a quarter is absurd.
that's crazy. And then
That's ridiculous.
a good team also doesn't lose like blow a lead that big. Like that is a crazy lead. That is a crazy like cushion that you built for yourself and just to like piss that away for the rest of the game. That just like that swings my opinion. Like, yeah, it's bad to get down in a hole, but like to claw that back, like credit to you for that. And then just like blowing a lead like that, that is tough, man. Like whoever, I don't know. I feel like I saw maybe like one person tweet at us this year, or like someone comment like, uh, give the Growlers more respect, or like I saw something like that earlier, and like, nah, like I'm not gonna entertain that after seeing this game and the way that kind of played
Is
out.
is this chart showing me that the Aviators had 6 turnovers like within 10 yards of their own end zone in that
That
first
would
quarter?
that would add up. I missed the first quarter.
This was a Callahan. These were throwaways and these were drops.
I will
That's
say
crazy.
there was a really cheek clenching moment right at the end where the Aviators were kind of right up on their own end zone. They were trying to run out the clock, and Sam Cook almost turfed a flick.
Mm.
Um, that would have. I mean, I think the Growlers could have Towlers almost said the Towler. That would be silly. um, yeah, they almost like had a just easy like with 10 seconds left could have punched it in to tie it. So I mean, oof, they almost had another first quarter syndrome moment, but yeah, they hung on. Oh, the last thing I want to say is Everest, dear friend of the pod, caught a goal to tie the game with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter and waved goodbye to the Growlers, like to tie the game. I think the first time the game was tied, like, or maybe not, but like I don't know, they were down, like they still needed to break in order to like pull ahead. And then he like waved goodbye to the other team. That is that was bold. And kind of I don't know, to me if that demonstrates anything, it just demonstrates that like that is not a person that watches a lot of sports, like because you just don't do that. Like um but I texted him about it after the game and he was like, yep, had full confidence, I knew we were gonna win. I'm like, all right, you know, maybe in
Pretty sick.
hindsight it's easy to say that, but that was crazy.
Yeah,
That's so funny. So do you like where the tier list is at now?
I think so.
Guess so.
Do the glory drop in the A tier at all, or does Carolina move up at all for stomping on the the Flyer stomping on the Phoenix?
I don't think Carolina moves up. I do kind of want to move the glory down because they were losing to Montreal during that
They
game.
they kind of got lucky that that even went to overtime.
Yeah, and if you're 3 tiers above a team, I don't think there should be a question if you're going to win the game or not. You know, like that recency bias pod, like maybe you go down below the shred there.
I mean,
Did they
realistically speaking, they're worse than the Shred, but the Shred have had a couple. loosey goosey games recently.
Yeah, the Shred kind of got dogged by the Empire. I don't know. The Glory haven't really been like challenge. I feel like the league picks like a team. They're like, we're gonna play you against you because you're good teams, and then like those teams have like harder travel schedules and stuff. And I think the Shred have kind of been victim to that by having to go to New York, and like the Glory just haven't had any like outside of the norm type of games like
Mhm.
that. Um,
I'm
so
okay
I don't
dropping
know.
them below the Shred.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess I'm happy with this.
So this is kind of our stamp of saying that the Hustle are the best team in the league, even though they've lost to the Flyers, who lost to DC by a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this last week. We think the whole reason there's no team in S tier is because it's kind of a crapshoot at the top. Like nobody
Yeah.
has shown dominance.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're saying Hustle is the best, but because there's 6 teams in A tier, they're all so close. Meaning Carolina is close to Hustle. Like it's
Yeah.
just everyone's in just like in CD-ROM, like Oakland, Philly, and Montreal are all close.
Okay. Valid.
And Hustle just beat Carolina.
Head to head neutral site, Cats, Spiders, who you got? Because we have the Cats a tier above the Spiders, but I'm not convinced that they win that game.
That'd be really interesting. That's power versus consistency.
To me, they're
Um,
like really similar, but we have them
I
in different tiers.
I think if Cats are on their A game, they win it. But as soon as they get in their own head, they lose it. Like yesterday, like you asked Cam, you asked Xavier, like they were like, "What?" Like we threw like that was my fault. We lost because of like these 2 throwaways or this two that, and it's like there's a lot of things that happen in that game. Like not one play made a difference, but when they're playing their A game and they're at like 95 to 97 completion percentage, they're pretty good, and I think they beat Oakland.
I I think that's a pretty accurate assessment. I think if the game gets chaotic, that's an Oakland win. But I think if both teams play the game that they want, that's probably Alley Cats.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess Alley Cats, I think like if we're gonna like talk about like scale of like high end to low end, like I think Alley Cats have the higher end, but maybe like the worse mean or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question.
All right. That's your list?
I think
Good luck,
so.
Shaped.
I think so.
I'm open.
I'm
I'm
open.
open.